Dear St. Andrews students, greetings of the day. We hope you are staying home and for the meantime till the schools are not open, we'll study through videos. Yesterday we have learned about how there was a print revolution in all over the Europe. We are able to see the contribution of Martin Luther in establishment or in leading out the movement. We call it Protestant Reformation. Whereas we have also seen related with the Menascio, one of the Miller in Italy. He was executed due to his interpretation of the Bible about the God's message and about the creation. What he interpreted, it has enraged the Roman Catholic Church, and therefore he was ultimately executed. Then we have also gone through about the books. It has been circulated, it has been spreaded, the printing material has been spreaded into different parts of the Europe, where we have seen as the readership has grown up so much, it has expanded so much. We have identified that there were two class group. One was an elite class, the other one was a common class. The elite class were highly educated, they knows how to read and write, whereas the common people, they were not aware of reading and writing. Whole soul their knowledge was depend on oral culture. Texts were heard, folk tales were narrated to them, ballads were recited to them, and on this basis they were able to develop their knowledge. Whereas we have seen once the booksellers and the publisher, they started spreading their works related with the books or the printed material into rest of the Europe. The Roman Catholic Church, or the authority in the Roman Catholic Church, or the artist, or the, we can say, the writers or the monarchs, they were so much fear due to the circulation of the printed materials. The reason for that was that these printed books, it has an effect over the people's mind. Rebellions and irreligious thought might spread. The third one was valuable literature would be destroyed. These were the three things we have seen yesterday, that due to the printed materials or the printed books, if they are going to be in circulation all over the Europe, then there would be effect on the people's mind. There would be spread of thoughts which are of rebellious nature or which are of irreligious nature. And we have also seen that a valuable literature is going to be destroyed, and therefore the church authority, the monarchy, the artist and the writers, they have a fear in themselves that they are going to lose their position, their importance in the European society. And they started criticizing the printed literature which was available for the common people. Then we have seen Martin Luther. Martin Luther has opposed the evil practices of the Roman Catholic Church, the custom, the culture, or the rituals which the Roman Catholic Church was following. It was all opposed by Martin Luther. He wrote 95 theses, and all these 95 theses were put upon a church, and he told the church and challenged them to debate on his writings or on his thesis. This revolt or this challenge or this opposition of Martin Luther has divided the church into two parts, that is Roman Catholic Church and in the Protestant Reformation. The Martin Luther's copies of Bibles, which were about 5,000, it sold immediately, and the next edition was ready in the 3 months. According to Martin Luther, he said printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. We have also seen Menascio, the miller in Italy. He read those books which were available in his locality, in his surroundings, and finally he came up with the reinterpretation of the message of Bible. He formulated the view of God and creation. By this, the Roman Catholic Church, they became so much angry. They hauled him twice and ultimately he was executed. Roman Catholic Church, they imposed restriction or censorship, or they put up a severe control over the booksellers or publisher, and they also started seeing that strict control should be maintained over the index of prohibited books. Today we are going to deal with the the topic we have related with the print culture and modern world, that is print comes to India. The printing press first came to the Goa with the Portuguese missionaries in the mid 16th century. Jesuit priest learned Konkani and printed several tracts. By 1674, about 50 books had been printed in the Konkani and Kannada languages. Catholic priest printed the first Tamil book in 1579 at Cochin, and in 1713 the first Malayalam book was printed by them. By 1710, Dutch Protestant missionaries had printed 32 Tamil texts. Many of them translation was of older books. From 1780, James Augustus Hickey began to edit the Bengal Gazette, a weekly magazine that described itself as a commercial paper, open to all but influenced by none. So it was a private English enterprise, proud of its independence from colonial influence that began English printing in India. Hickey published a lot of advertisements, including those that related to the import and sale of slaves. But he also published a lot of gossip about the company's senior official in India. This enraged Governor General Warren Hastings. He persuaded Hickey and encouraged the publication of official sanctioned newspapers that could counter the flow of information that damaged the image of the colonial government. By the close of the 18th century, a number of newspaper and journal appeared in print. There were Indians too, who began to publish Indian newspapers. The first to appear was the weekly Bengal Gazette, brought out by Gangadhar Bhattacharya, who was close to Ram Mohan Roy. Next segment is related with the religious reform, and the debate was going on related with the print culture. In early 19th century, as you know, there were intense debates and around religious issues. Different groups confronted the changes happening within colonial society in different ways, and offered a variety of new interpretation of the beliefs of different religions. Some criticized existing practices and campaigned for reform, while others countered the arguments of reformers. These debates were carried out in public and in print. Printed tracts and newspapers not only spread in the new ideas, but they shaped the nature of debate. A wider public could now participate in this public discussion and express their views. New ideas emerged through these clashes of opinions. This was a time of intense controversies between social and religious reformers and the Hindu orthodoxy of matters like widow immolation, monotheism, Brahmanical priesthood, and idolatry. Bengal, as the debate developed, tracts and newspapers proliferated, circulating a variety of arguments. To reach a wider audience, the ideas were printed in the common languages of ordinary people. Raja Ram Mohan Roy published the Sambad Kaumudi from 1821, and the Hindu Orthodoxy commissioned the publication of Samachar Chandrika to oppose his opinions in Samad Kaumudi. From 1822, two Persian newspapers were published, Jami Jahan and Shamsul Akbara. In the same year, a Gujarati newspaper, the Bombay Samachar, made its appearance. In North India, the ulema were deeply anxious about the collapse of Muslim dynasties. They feared the colonial rulers would encourage conversions, change the Muslim personal laws. Therefore, in order to counter this, they used a cheap lithographic presses, published Persian and Urdu translation of Holy Scriptures, and printed religious newspapers and tracts. The Deoband seminary, founded in 1867, published thousands of fatwas telling Muslim readers how to conduct themselves in everyday lives and explaining the meanings of Islamic doctrines. Among Hindus, too, print encouraged the reading of religious texts, especially in the vernacular languages. The first printed edition of Ramcharitramanas of Tulsidas, it came in 16th century. By the mid-19th century, a cheap lithographic edition flooded the North Indian markets. From the 1880s, the Naval Kishore Press, Lucknow, and the Sri Venkateshwar Press in Bombay published numerous religious texts in vernaculars. The two presses we have able to identify, the Naval Kishore Press, and the Lucknow, and in Lucknow, Sri Venkateshwar Press. In Lucknow, Naval Kishore Press, and in Bombay, Sri Venkateshwar Press was there to publish religious text in vernaculars. In the printed and portable form, these could be read easily by the faithful at any place and time. They could also be read out to large groups of illiterate men and women. Religious text therefore reached a very wide circle of people, encouraging discussion, debates, and controversies within and among different religions. That's all for today. We'll come back again in the next segment. Till then, remain safe and healthy. We will be back. Thanks for watching.